Welcome back to Foundation Physical Therapy's YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over stretching of the deep musculature or the deep structures of the hip. When you have a hip that's not moving well, it can do a few things. I mean, obviously the hip itself can be problematic, but it can also lead to problems in the knee and problems in the lumbar spine. So what we've noticed is that a lot of people don't really know how to properly stretch the inside of the hip. They have a good understanding of how to stretch the hamstrings and other things, but the inside of the hip is a little bit more tricky. So what I'm going to take you through right now is a progression in various postures that you can stretch that hip. Some are more aggressive than others. So that being said, you want to use the one that feels like a gentle stretch inside the hip that is not painful at all and gets the job done. So the easiest thing to do, the simplest one, is seated. Now this one is a little more aggressive. It's kind of middle of the road, so I'm going to show you when it's harder and when it's easier. So what you can start out by doing is straighten one leg out and cross one leg over. Sometimes this is enough to get a stretch inside the hip, and I'm stretching the right hip right now. And then as I bring this leg up, that's going to bring more and more stretch inside this right hip. Now, the key point is the playing of this lower leg. And as I push down further this way, push down this way with this hand, I'm going to feel more of a stretch in this hip. Okay. Now, what you can do to get a little bit of a stretch is just put a little pressure down and then create some counter pressure. So my hand is holding its position, and this lower leg is gently pushing up. So I hold that for a 5-second count, and then I relax and repeat it, and then I do it again. And the whole time I'm trying to stretch the inside of this right hip. Now let's say that was too challenging or too difficult. What you can do is assume that same posture lying down. So you'd be here, here, and then you're going to start by crossing this leg over, and sometimes even just letting the hip hang like this is a stretch in a different position. So again, you start to work this leg up, and then once you get to here, you can start to put that same pressure down. And then again, I create some counter pressure with this right leg up against my hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to push down, and I can work it up that way. If I find that I'm not getting enough stretch, I can even put a little yoga block between my hand and this knee to basically, in a sense, make my arm longer so I can get more push into that hip. Okay? So now, that's the easiest position. This would be the chair would be the middle of the road position. The most challenging position would be in standing. And what we'll do here is build up a surface like a chair. You can do this with pillows. You can do this on the back of the couch at home. And then what you're going to do is bring your leg up onto that surface. Now, this would probably need to be a tiny bit higher. It could be a more aggressive stretch, but do what's comfortable for you. So once you're in this position, then you want to assume a nice tall posture, and your stretch can be brought on by squatting into this stretch a little bit. And then just as an aside, if you wanted to add a little more challenge for your core, then what you do is you bring your arms here, you reach overhead, really reach so you feel your core engage, and then you do that same squat, making sure that you're not leaning forward or tipping back, you're dropping straight down into that stretch. And then you would hold that and come back up. So 3 different postures, and you can get a real effective stretch on the deeper or the intrinsic structures in the hip that cause a lot of restriction that are harder to get at.